have a quorum, so we're going to open the Rules and Legislative Committee in prayer. John Carney, please.
Almighty God, we thank you for the privilege of living in a country that is free, and we ask you that you would bless this meeting tonight, that the discussions would be enlightening, that the decisions would be right, and that you would guide all those who participate in the service of this community. All these things, Lord, we ask in your holy and almighty name. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, the roll call. I think Commissioner Boutwell is on his way. According to Commissioner Vick, he's got some traffic. He'll be here hopefully any minute.
Yes, sir.
And I imagine that
I understand that traffic.
be here as well, because you can get traffic this time, even here in Shelbyville. But there's three of us present. There's two absent at this moment. Okay, approve the agenda, and then minutes approve.
I'll move to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
And there's a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Okay. Public comment period. I didn't see anybody. No one had signed up. I thought we might have a speaker, but not here. So not being none, we'll go on to the next item is considerations and recommendations. The consideration of placing the January 13th, 2026 commission minutes on the February 10th, 2026 commission meeting.
I make a motion that we place those on the meeting without a recommendation.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The next item is consideration of placing the notary applicants on the February 10th, 2026 County Commission agenda as Clerk Donna Thomas.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, approval of reports. So we've got the first one is a veterans report. I believe they were 47 visits in December, and there were 58 veterans that were transported to the VA hospitals, and Director Ben Ely.
There's nothing to add about the report. I do want to say something kind of what we do on a daily basis is we help the veterans navigate the VA process and file all kinds of claims for them and their families. A lot of this have to do with the benefits administration of the VA, which deals with money. And so far, the new database that we've gotten, it kind of collects some of the money information. From July 1st until now, the claims that have been approved, there's been over $300,000 coming back to veterans in Bedford County.
Good. Great.
So,
Okay, anybody have any questions for the Director, Veterans Affairs? Bina, thank you, sir. We appreciate your service. Okay, there's most approving. We might need to approve the other one. I thought I read in the minutes where you couldn't see that we approved the Veterans Report. And I meant to ask Commissioner Vick, you normally catch me if I don't ask for a vote, but in case we don't, I think we need to, I'm sure she's looked at the tape, but I couldn't remember not approving last month's Veterans Report. But if you can put in a motion to approve it and tonight's, it'd probably be safer.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to approve tonight's Veterans Report and last month's Veterans Report. Goes with it.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, is any other questions concerning that? Being none, is all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, the next is the clinic report. Is for our own information only. In the medical report, there were 70 patients that were seen in December, and there were 70 that were seen in the dental report as well. Again, Rita Lusk was singing praises for the dentist, Dr. Foster and Dr. Gray, and all the good work and the contributions they have for the dental part of the service that we're providing. So I do want to mention those two doctors as well. because she mentioned them in the report as well. Does anyone have any questions, comments? They do provide a very valuable service to everyone in the community. And then we'll go on, the next one is the Ag Center report, Commissioner.
Finally got
Hampson.
to meet. I don't know if
Okay.
everything is old, but anyway, one thing we didn't talk about a little bit, Commissioner Dick and I were aware of this as well. UT Extension Office out here doesn't have enough room, so they need to, Sam Coates came and talked to the board about moving Soil Conservation Office because there's some very large equipment that's not being stored probably correctly. Would we let them have 50 feet with their expense of moving the fence? The board voted unanimously to let them do it because we all kind of work together, and they do need the room, they need the parking, so we voted unanimously to do it unless the county's got a problem with it. As far as I know, Sam and them are going to move forward with getting their bids, working it out. It actually gives Helen a little less to mow. Not all bad, but it's really going to help them out a bunch. And some of that expensive equipment doesn't need to be sitting where it's sitting on the road. One of those pieces of equipment, Sam said, is $175,000. And we need to get it back behind the building, so if we move everything back 50 feet, that's what we agreed to do unanimously, so that was the big thing out of the meeting.
And they agreed also to pay for the
Yes,
fence.
they're paying to move the fence, they're
So
paying to do everything.
that comes out of their grant money,
Right.
not out of the taxpayer.
Right. Nothing out of the taxpayer at all. We move the fence back 50 feet. That gives them more room, will help them greatly.
Yep.
And I think it was a win-win.
I think
So we're glad to do it.
Okay, is any questions for Commissioner Anderson concerning the Ag Center? Okay, being none, we'll get on to old business next, and Commissioner Maddox and I don't know if Josh wants to come in here. Well, but y'all welcome to the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate it. So last month, we had the opportunity to speak to this group as it pertains to an idea that we had that we really feel that will benefit the seniors of Bedford County as it pertains to a tax freeze, property tax freeze. And we've had the ability to go through and research some data. I want to give a lot of kudos to Councilman Blevins here, as he's done a lot of the heavy lifting as far as looking at the data. But it seems to me that it's overwhelming that the folks of the county would be in support of this. I want to also say thank you to Shelbyville Now. They put out information to receive feedback. That was just overwhelmingly positive. And also the Times Gazette. They did a great job of running it a couple of times, and the calls that I've received have been extremely positive. And even conversations that I've had with some folks in this room have been positive. I also want to say a thank you to Ms. Rhonda Clanton and Ms. Tanya Davis. Josh and I have taken the opportunity to speak to them as it pertains to this, because their office would be a big portion of this as it pertains to the logistics and operationally. I also believe that those conversations were extremely positive, and I'll let them speak for themselves. But I am very thankful and optimistic that hopefully we can definitely make this work. I believe that, and Councilman Blevins also believes that our ultimate ask is that we put together a committee, a subcommittee, to study this for 90 days. And then that committee would come back to you all with a recommendation based off of the feedback that we have from the subject matter experts. And if I'm not mistaken, they've both agreed, Ms. Davis, Ms. Clanton's agreed to be a part of that committee, or have someone be a part of that committee. So again, I'm just very thankful for the opportunity. I am excited about it. I'm hoping that we can do this for some of what we consider our most vulnerable of the county. I also want to take just a moment too and ask Councilman Blevins if he could speak to what they've done at a city level. Of course, this initiative would span across our entire county, which would also include the city, but the city can also initiate their own program. And it sounds like they're well on their way. Councilman?
Sure. Like to thank Commissioner Farrer again for always having an open meeting, allowing anybody to speak. I took the opportunity to also, Mayor Graham was very gracious, met with me a couple weeks ago to kind of see what this would look like, how we could move forward with this, where the city and the county could possibly actually work together on an issue, which is a crazy idea, I know. So and I don't want to speak for him, but I think he was in agreement that we could come up with a subcommittee of the Rules and Legislative Committee. So this would be a subcommittee of you all. It would report back to Rules and Legislative at the end of this 90-day period with either a report, a recommendation, whatever. This would also be a joint committee of the city and the county. I've met with the city attorney. What we would ask you from the city side to do would just put 2 city council members on it. We're going to have a special called meeting in a couple of weeks, and we will appoint those 2 council members. I can't speak for the whole council by myself, so we would actually vote on that, and we would send 2 council members to those meetings. Just general, concept for me, and welcome to your feedback as well. Second Tuesday of the month, we already have a county commission meeting here in the building at 7:00. It would seem to me it would make sense we could meet this committee at 5:30, meet for an hour on those 3 second Tuesdays of the next 3 months. That would give 3 hours for the committee to get together. We've got people from the state that are willing to come in and present. They've spoken to Rhonda. They've also spoken to the city treasurer. So rather than drag people over to the city meeting, over to the county meeting, back to the city, we just thought it made sense for us to work together, put this committee together. Besides Rhonda and Tanya, who had both agreed to be on it, 2 council members, whatever you decide as far as 2, 3, 4 county commissioners, and obviously, the mayor would be welcome to be on it. Whatever you would think as far as the makeup of that committee would that. And just looking for a way to help our most vulnerable, our seniors. We hear a lot about tourists, how much we love tourists. They come into town, they pay their sales tax, they leave. We don't have to educate their kids. Well, our seniors, they live here. They live here their whole lives. They're 65 and up. They don't have kids in our schools. They're not commuting to work anymore. They're still paying more than their fair share of property tax every single year. And I think this is just a little small something that we could do to help our seniors. They are our least heavy demographic on county services. They take the least from the county, but are still paying in their full amount of property tax. So I think this is something great we could do for them, and just would like to study this, as Commissioner Mack said. And like I said, we have met with Rhonda and Tanya. I'd love to hear from, if you're willing, from Tanya, who I know has spent a lot of time researching this and could speak more to the need as far as the seniors. She sees them every day in her office and hears the stories. And I'd love to hear from her if you've got a minute.
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for this opportunity to stand here, because this program that we're speaking of is very dear to my heart. I'm not your messenger, but I'm your trustee. And I have spent many years, 16 years, been blessed enough to serve on the board and committees with the state. I have stood on that floor many times waiting for that vote to be so we could continue tax return or tax relief. It's very passionate to my heart. I know the impact that it makes on our most vulnerable, our elderly. So, in that being said, the trust, the relationship, of being able to walk down those halls and have a voice for tax relief, I have certainly, like I said, supported in every way. Now, speaking of, and as I said, as your trustee, I have the obligation to stand here before you and give you all information. And that is my job, and I am very willing to support this, work along beside this, because I am very passionate about the seniors. I will do anything asked of me as this job, so you will be able to have all information, everything you need, any number you need to make the best decision to move forward with this tax relief / freeze plan. I do have several numbers if anyone has questions. As the trustee, I did, if you decide to move forward to vote for this committee, and yes, I'm very willing to serve on this. Asking that, I did bullet point. If you decide to vote, I did bullet point and to present to the committee some of the things of recommendations that I feel like that we need to talk about, because growth requires growing. We have a plan, and we are stepping into the unknown plan. So when we reach out for this plan, I feel like, and they've done tremendous work behind this. And as I said, I did bring some numbers up here. The numbers are asked. We have reached out to the elderly. We do know where the need is. We are for reappraisal. We do not know the impact of what that appraisal is going to bring. Is there going to be a tax increase? There are so many questions to where we're headed in our budget time. My questions, as I will give this committee, basically is that unknown revenue lost impact. Where does that burden fall? Where is that made up? We speak of concerns of the citizens, and we need to spread this where we call the citizens, because we have people that work, young people with children, that are what we call a fixed income, because unless they make overtime, it is a fixed income. So these are just things, and when I say this, it's something to really come to the table, really think about, lay these numbers, know where this impact's going to fall. What is the impact to the city revenue? What are the considerations of the amendment to the tax relief / freeze? We have 27, I don't think did I bring that up there? 27 counties, 33 cities that is on the freeze. Some of these cities, like Shelby County, cities are considered into that county. There's 6 cities in that county. So, like I said, I brought a stack of everything that needed to be asked, any frequent questions, any numbers, freeze versus relief, the payout, the income cap, anything and everything like IS is asking me, I will present. And it will be up to 18 votes to decide to move forward. I do encourage this group session. I do encourage the study. The income cap right now for tax relief is $37,530. The income cap for freeze is $42,710. 65 older by December the 31st of the year. And to make clear, doesn't come into play until the next year. Let me see, I need to, county pays out $118. That is the match of tax relief state of $118. The city pays out $75. Right now, currently, we have about 773 on tax relief. We know that 773 will go to freeze, and we will increase by some number, because that 42,710, I have a few elderly that will benefit to that if it freeze. I realize that this will lessen the burden of our raising property tax. And I do respectfully ask that this study move forward and look at the numbers and see how all it falls and what can benefit. We're talking about the most vulnerable. So we need to stay focused to know what is the best plan for the elderly. Do I have any questions?
I have one. When we say tax freeze and we act like maybe that it's costing us money when I'm freezing something, I don't see where it's costing. But if you can explain it to me. You're not going to get an increase later, but I'm not cutting anything with a freeze. It's just frozen.
That's correct.
So when we're saying revenue lost on a freeze, I get a little scared.
It's been a crazy busy day. what I feel when we talk about cost is the cost of administrative. It's going to be a cost of increase of employees.
But once
Or
it's
is-
frozen, for example, and I asked Rhonda this in private, but once it's frozen, whatever the cost was in 1 year, once it's frozen, that cost is kind of over with, isn't it?
Okay, I'll use an example of the county went 10 years without a tax increase. So once we freeze the tax rate or the tax payment assessment, I'm correct, assessment goes along in the freeze with taxes, correct. It does not go into effect unless there's a tax increase. Now, we went 10 years without a tax increase, so we've been paying out additional employees for 10 years, and it would not have benefited them at all. That's where I'm speaking of the cost.
So there's 773 people that are on tax relief right now. So of that 773, how many do you anticipate will qualify at the 42,710 over the 37,530 amount? Just ballpark.
Grade is 200, less, I think 200 is a fair, not a true, but a fair.
150 to 250 would be the
Yes.
range. And if they are on tax relief, do they also qualify for the tax freeze?
Yes.
Okay, so they're receiving,
And they do annually have to reapply.
Yep.
Yes.
But with the freeze, you would not have to annually reapply, would you?
Yes.
Property change stamps, you do? Okay.
Yes.
Because your income might
Because your
change.
income might change, yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
I saw on the news where they were talking about the state that the fund after this year was going to be low for the tax relief. Yeah,
You're
So,
running out of money.
they're running out of money for the tax relief after this year. So
It's true.
do we see that might come to an end after this year?
That was a hard question. I pray not. That's why I say I spent a lot of time, a lot of hours supporting, pulling support from the Trustees Association. We've been on the Hill many times, many meetings, because at one point it was growing at 22% plus. That is the time of war when our young veterans come home. They were blown up. So there was a lot of young, 100% permanently disabled veterans that came home, and that pushed a lot of payout. And you know, when I speak that because they sacrificed it all. Their life, their bodies. And you can tell how passionate I am for this program because it does affect our veterans. And of course, we're speaking on our most vulnerable, our elderly. But this is the disabled along with the veteran spouse. Yes, ma'am. It's growing. We have 100 new veterans now on the program, new this year. It is 1 million over that we did not have last year, with a lot of phone calls and our own legislative, our senator or Congress, they have really stepped up. The comptroller has assured us that we will move forward this year. But it is true. There is a lot of growth, and we need more money to continue the program. I do want to bring clarity to something. I know that I've had and the reason, and I have printed out something for just, however the vote goes, some bullet points that I'd really like this committee to really focus on this study. And then from that, I will provide any numbers, any comparison. I will give you all 95 states, whether they have a special interest or whatever they have, well tax, anything that plays into revenue. But what I was going to tell you, the mayor's in the house. Where'd he come from? I do want to say, and I will stop, that I just want to say, I went back 16 years. There is not an elderly's home that's been sold from not being able to pay the property tax. I can say that the relief has kept a lot in their home. That's why I get the taxes out early. They come in, we set up a budget, and here we go. So, but for selling their homes are not been sold. So
Yeah, I checked the tax sales on there, and while there are some that are delinquent, we've not had, I think there was one in the last 10 or 12 years that I saw, but that was it out of the numbers that haven't paid their taxes. And
They're-
we're through the process,
they're
but
repeaters,
and there are a lot
offenders.
of
Yeah,
multi-owners of property.
Yeah, I have to go after them.
Okay. If I can, what I want to make a comment about, and Councilman Blevins did come to see me, and I do think it needs to be studied and looked at. I'm not as forward with it as I am tax relief, but what I want to do, because of the way the question was asked, I think there's an opportunity for me to explain something to you. Whenever we budgeted starting, I guess it's about we asked the commission to support tax relief, and so we kind of throw that word around, tax relief, and it is an umbrella name that the state uses to qualify people for actually their program called tax relief. Now, within that there are different categories of opportunity. One's low income elderly, one's disabled veterans, and then what's in there? A fourth one?
The elderly, it's the spouse, it's.
Oh, okay, yeah. So
Spouse, veteran.
right.
Disabled.
So whenever we budgeted and when we asked the commission to go along with us at the budgeting process to start the program that we currently provide of relief, I'm going to use the word relief, not freeze. What we're doing and why I thought that program was important was, one, we could just segregate one section of the four, and that was the low income elderly, which is what we did. But it's all under the umbrella of tax relief. Okay. The state of Tennessee currently, as she was saying, the pool has been such that they have figured out that they could give $118 to the low-income elderly people that qualified under their structure. Now, we're using their same structure, and what I asked you guys to do was allow us to match 100% of what the state was giving to them. What you were referring to, the state now is looking at potentially not being able to give 118 anymore. Maybe they could only give 75, 50. I don't know what the number's going to be yet. But in theory, there's nothing that keeps the county from not still giving $118 that we currently give if we wish to do that through the budget process. Now, that stands totally independent of tax freeze.
Right.
Now, the reason that I thought that tax relief was our best bet 4 years ago, and I still think it's a great approach now. Maybe there's a place for tax freeze that'll hopefully be vetted out before it's done. But tax freeze doesn't do anything for the citizen until we have a tax increase later. At 65, they still pay what they were paying. And as long as you don't raise the tax rate and we're not past the 5-year cycle, they're not going to get anything. It's not giving them anything toward their tax. They're going to pay 100% of what they're paying now. But tax relief, when we said we're giving you $118, we're giving you $118 toward paying your tax bill. Tax freeze don't give you any money toward paying your bill. It locks your bill. Do you agree with that? And so I'm not saying it's not a good thing, but you're right. When you say the initial installation of it is really almost budget neutral. But what it does do if you freeze it is you tie the hands of the legislative body in the future about where they're going to get additional revenue. In other words, those people's amount that they're contributing won't change. Everybody else's revenue will have to make it up. So whatever their portion would have, it will now be on the backs of the other people that are left to pay. That's why I'm not as excited about that as it sounds, particularly because I believe the county does have a fair, reasonable tax rate. Everybody wants their tax lower. I'm all for that. Whatever the commission decides, the mayor doesn't decide that. It'll be up to them. I'm happy to be a part of gathering information and studying it. But tax relief is where we make a difference in them actually being able to pay their tax bill annually. And there's nothing that keeps the commission from next year doubling the amount that we're giving toward those low-income elderly's tax relief, if that winds up so being what the commission would want to do, stands independent of tax relief or tax freeze. So what I want to say is they really are two different programs.
Right.
And you could,
Understand.
I don't think it would be best for the citizen, but you could do away with tax relief, as we call it, where we're matching what the state gives, and simply do tax freeze, which means you're not giving them anything, but you're not going to take anything from them in the future.
Right.
that-
I would like to see
Is
us
that fair? Am I?
do both and keep them both myself, but.
Yeah, and I'm not saying we can't do that, but I'm saying we're budgeting. Someone had asked me at one point, well, what's the difference about budgeting? Well, we're budgeting because we're actually giving them the opportunity, you might would say a voucher almost,
Right.
to help pay their actual property tax, where freeze would just keep their number from growing.
Right.
But they're still going to come up with 100% of their money.
Right.
And it's only, not just because you're 65 and not when you're 65, if you get freeze, you don't pay anything, because that's the kind of calls that we're getting to the office, is people excited that I'm over 65, so I'm not going to have to pay taxes anymore. And that's not exactly right. Yeah. It's not a reason not to do it, but it's a little bit wonky in the social media world right now. So I think, again, that's why a committee and the smart and right people on the committee can really help make sure that everybody understands what you're going forward with. But tax relief is far ahead, in my opinion, helpful to the actual low-income, elderly, vulnerable that we're trying to do, as far as immediately helping them with their taxes. The other is, if you go 10 years and don't raise property tax, freezing didn't do anything
Right.
for those people during that time. But you will tie the hands of future commission.
And I think this committee could also look at while they're looking at the freeze.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, I think the
That's-
city doesn't, gives a flat,
We do. Yeah, we
what'd
do
you say?
75.
Yeah, 75, where what we said, what I'd ask you guys to do, instead of a dollar amount, I said, I'd like to see us see if we can do 100% of whatever the state gives them. So, because it moves from year to year. And so, in this case, if the state moved down to 75 next year, that wouldn't be good, and we have the funds to stay at the 118. Again, that's a decision the commission can make that stands independent of tax freeze. So,
And I want to say, in these years, that's a good point to make. And Rhonda, you may want to, I didn't mean to.
I was just saying, we'll make sure I'm not cross.
Okay, I just want to just follow up with something he said in there. And Rhonda, you may want to speak on the equalization ratio, how that, does move the bar a little bit with the program payout. But in the years that I've been in the office, it's not anything towards the projection of it may move up a little, but it will move back down. And that's got a lot to do with the 5-year, the reappraisal. So it's not anything that I can say in my 16 years that is not been able to be funded by the county in the relief side of the way it moves. And I do have 16 years to compare those, because I went back from the time I started to where I'm at, and it's right there under. So. Do you have any more questions for me, for the mayor? And I want to thank these gentlemen, because they do have put it out there. But I do have a lot of elderly coming up and saying, and they think it's right now, current today is, well, I don't have to pay any taxes. You have froze me, and I'm like, well, it's being discussed, but it's not a freeze yet.
You're still
Just
going to have to
leave
pay
that up to
taxes.
Yeah, taxes don't go away.
And they
do
just think that when it freezes, it just goes away, but it doesn't go away. It still happens.
They're elderly and there is dementia, so I have a problem with it myself. But that is an interesting point, County Mayor, we might need to look at what the state gives them and try to maybe go from that angle, because that truly will be more help than just a freeze, perhaps. But it'll have to be debated and studied, and yes, the tax assessors. You can go ahead and comment again, and then we'll let.
Okay. What I was going to say is I do agree, and where we were budgeting, because we didn't know what the numbers would be back when we started, we were putting in $100,000 a year. We've only been expending on this 118 model at about, 60,000? So we ought to at least be able to hold the 118, whether the state would go down or not. But there may be an opportunity again, and this would touch them immediately, so to speak, because that's a voucher for the purpose of the conversation. It's a voucher that's helping them actually pay the tax bill that they've got to get written by January or February when your tax bill's due.
How do
Yeah,
you
I'm
ever
not for
arrive
getting
at
rid of that.
118?
The state does it. That's
Oh,
why I
okay.
said, I asked you guys to go along with the program. Whatever they did, we would match it 100%. Their number moves every year, doesn't it?
And that moving number, has it peaked in 24? Even with the years, it's still more money.
Yeah.
236.
Yeah, because it doubles the amount that they have to actually pay toward their tax. And the reason that I was thinking that we just do a percent and ideally I ask you for 100% was so they didn't have to do additional math. They've already got to do this work for the state's program anyway. So once they know what the state amount is, then our part, as long as the line item didn't exceed the expenditure, then we were able to satisfy what we budgeted. And so we've been coming in at around 60,000, even though we've had 100. Now, every year, whenever we don't use it, we just carry it forward. I mean, it all drops in the bucket and redistributes. But
John and I were looking at this, and it looks like if you took the average price of the home of the people who are on the relief right now, and then you took the amount of the tax at the current tax, say, let's assume based on historical numbers, percentage-wise increases in there over the 16-year period, project that out, add cost of inflation in there, what's the number that it would come up? And you're paying $300, $400 a month on your property, a year on your property taxes, you're only talking about $50 out of there. Would it be more advantageous to add more on the relief than it would be to tax?
That would be my opinion, because then you know it's immediate and you
And it's a
budget
fixed
year to
number in the
year.
budget.
If we did get in a bind as a body in the future, although I won't be here with you, you could always lower the amount you're budgeting. When you freeze, you've made it. That's what I'm saying. You're tying the hands of the future body, legislative body, potentially for funding.
Like I say, we were talking, basically what you could do is back test it, use the last increase, and with the people that we have on the rolls now, just see how much they would save.
Right, but there's no question that relief is giving them
For
immediate,
using a freeze,
where
yeah.
freeze will help them long term. Now, the long game is it will be very lucrative for them in theory if they live long enough, because they're not only does the rate freeze, their value free. Oh, if the rate changes, then the amount goes up?
No, the value of the property goes up.
Yeah, but off of that assessed value at the time.
So,
As far as
so let's
for
just say what you're saying. Let's say right now I pay $1,000 a year on my property. And 20 years from now, my property's increased 3 times its value and tax rate's gone up a bunch. I'm still gonna be paying $1,000.
Yes.
It's right. It's
at the time.
frozen. Now, if you add on,
I'm not gonna do that.
it's gonna be, your taxes are gonna go up
Yeah,
when you're frozen.
I'm gonna move into your house, not my house.
And the committee can certainly put together all kinds of scenarios to look at it and reverse the math to figure that out.
Yeah, Putnam County did this, same committee in Putnam County. That's part of what they brought. They picked a couple individuals, brought real numbers. You can see a real person.
Yeah, how would it affect them?
Potential savings.
Yeah, that's,
Whether you're better off. They actually went up on the and showed.
and you know what the freeze is basically, if you had a tax, if we were to ever have one nasty thing again, we would know the impact, a rough idea of what the impact.
And that's the thing. I want people to understand that even though it's frozen, if you add anything to that property, and of course, if you take something down, it'll go down. But it's the calculation for it is not dollar for dollar on the appraised value. It's a percentage that those taxes would go up. And on the tax relief side, the ratio hits the tax relief just like it does the personal property and the Office of State Assessed Properties. So the only time they're getting 100% from the state is the first 2 years out of the gate with reappraisal. After that, if there's a ratio, they're deducting on that side that ratio too, and it's taken what they would get from the state down.
So if John's example, if the house is worth $60,000 appraised today and the rate is 236, and tomorrow a new appraisal comes in, our 5 years, and it's worth 100,000, the rate's still frozen at 236, but they're still paying more taxes, the total amount. But
They're-
the rate's still the same?
It's the tax amount
tax
that
amount,
they
okay.
pay.
Tax amount. So if
It's
I'm
the
paying
tax
1,000,
amount.
if I'm paying 1,000 now and I'm frozen, no matter how valuable my house becomes,
You're still paying
I'm still
1,000.
paying 1,000.
Unless you change.
Yeah,
Well, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna do that.
Yeah. But when they hear frozen, they think it's never going to change.
Yeah.
And if they forget to do it, it goes up to the value that it should be at, and everything starts all over again. It's not forgiven. It's not, you miss it, you're out of the
Well, could I
program.
sell that house to another senior?
But there's no
And let them be
rollback.
frozen at 1,000?
And on my side of it, the cost is we would be having to review whether it's in the field or in the office, those 1,000 or 900 parcels every year.
Okay, well, what is our ask we have? What is our ask of this
Yeah.
committee?
Our ask is for a subcommittee of the Rules and Legislative Committee, which I spoke with the mayor. This doesn't need to go up to the commission for that because it'll be a subcommittee of you. They'll review this for 90 days and come back to you with either a report or a recommendation. And then I would ask you to help us pick the members of the committee from the county side of it.
Make a motion, we do that.
Yeah, I'll second.
And how?
Yeah, so who wants to
Who's in
volunteer?
charge?
Yeah, well, I'm
Who wants
saying
to
we
volunteer?
need to have a
Then.
process or procedure
I don't
here.
mind being on the committee. I think Commissioner Vick should.
How
be.
many,
No.
how many you gonna put on there?
You got the
I would
numbers.
say 2 to 4 commissioners would
Or-
probably be a.
2 councilmen,
we-
2
we're
commissioners,
having
both
two-
mayors.
Yeah, we were asking for you to ask for.
Well,
two
Mr.
council-
Graham probably didn't appreciate that, but both mayors, Mayor Carroll and both mayors would be okay?
You will know.
Okay.
And Commissioner Epperson has said that she will
She'll be
chair
one
up
of the-
out of the.
Be a commissioner on the committee.
I'll be a
You're the point
commissioner.
person. You're the point person to put this together.
Yeah, somebody from your committee. and
I
that's-
think Eric needs to be the chairman.
Whoever.
I'll be, Commissioner Maddox should be on there, because obviously he's done all this work.
There you go.
There you
Okay,
go, we
and
got
I'll-
you 2
and
right
then
there.
Tanya and,
Tanya, Rhonda, and both mayors, and y'all come up with 2 on your end?
we'll present that back. And are
that
you
good?
agreeable to the 5:30 on the second
That's a good
Tuesday
time.
as far as the
Yeah, I
meeting's
think that's
concerned?
great.
So we've got now, the motion is to do this committee.
Yeah.
To appoint Commissioner Epperson and Commissioner Maddox as the representatives on this committee from the county, and the county mayor and the city mayor, and then you will provide
We'll
2
provide
city
2
members.
council
Is that a proper
And
motion?
Tanya and Rhonda.
And
And Tanya and Rhonda.
Tanya.
The trustee and the property.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's our,
Meet in here,
Right here.
5:30.
Will this be live stream?
No.
No,
Subcommittee, no, it's not gonna be. I've got one comment before we take a vote on that. I have a motion and a second. But we got 2 other committees here that I don't know if we've had any input from law enforcement or courthouse and property. I mean, and I guess we have the power to do it, and I don't mind doing it, but I'd like to get some feedback from the other 2 committees that are fixing to meet behind us, because I hadn't heard any comments. Of course, Commissioner Maddox is on one of them, but we'll get some feedback. I'd like to get some
anybody else
feedback
wants to
from
be on the board, we'd be
somebody
happy.
else.
Can I real quick before, real quick before he speaks, Mayor Graham and I did speak about that. We feel like, and this was just us talking, but probably the appropriate path would be for it to come to your committee first, this subcommittee, it's your subcommittee.
I agree to that.
And then this should not go straight to the commission. This should go to the
Finance
finance committee would be the next step before it goes to the commission. But then I'll let.
And again, I don't want to speak for my whole committee, but I mean, just as what I've seen, I think that most people are at least in support of gaining some information. And so I don't think that we would have any objection to gaining any information and supporting this group. So
Wonderful. I just want to get some input from y'all. Great, that sounds good.
that's our motion. Plus, the final report goes to finance committee.
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
Okay, that's our
Please,
motion. We have
everyone
on the other
understand.
side.
And I'll speak to live streaming real quick. I'll bring my own equipment and record if we need to. I do want this to be, for the rest of the city council to be able to view this and the county commission. So I won't put Mr. Carney on the spot to have to live stream, so I will.
Any other discussion or comments? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, we've got the
Thank you.
committee formed. Yeah, thank you, gentlemen, and thank, Rhonda, thank y'all for coming up and giving us all the information we need, because we had a thorough discussion tonight about it here in the rules. Okay, so, I think there's some more, we got some more on the agenda, if I can get back to the other. Let's see, new business, annual bylaws review. I didn't have anybody that came to me. I know there's some discussion back in the fall, but I guess it's, there's nothing came to me or anyone else, has it?
Unless we have to do this annually, are we required annually to look at this?
Evidently so, I think, County Mayor.
I think we put it in the bylaws.
No, I don't think there's anything, and nobody else has had anybody request, have you? Okay, okay, good, being none.
So our review is that we foresee no changes in our bylaws for this upcoming year, and I'll make that in form of a motion.
Okay.
Do I get a second?
Second. Okay, any questions?
John?
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, so the rules will stay the same. Okay, now we still got the other, there was some discussion about the people that are gonna take the property assessor's place. I'm assuming they're here. I guess, well, the first one here is Andrew Reed. Is Andrew? Okay, good. Good. I'll let you go first if you'd like to speak. Yes? Yes, sir. Oh, no, well, she said we could, so if you're here, we're gonna go. Who's ever here, she gave us permission.
Let me just go ahead and tell you what I'd like to say.
Yes, sir. Anything you'd like to comment or say?
All right. Well, good evening. As many of you know, my name is Drew Reed. I have been married to my wife, Molly, for 26 years and have 3 children. My position in Rhonda's office is in cadastral mapping and GIS with some data management. I also serve on the board of the Bedford County Republican Party. I started with the county in 2016 in planning and 911 center doing GIS and addressing in a joint position, and then moved to the assessor's office in 2019. My first role was the position of field appraisal and operations, which I held until 2021. My reasoning for taking that position was to learn that side of our office and see what all is involved and goes into picking up and the valuation of residential and commercial property structures, along with other improvements, and how to get those changes onto the tax roll. I knew when I came here it would be for long term, and I wanted to become a valuable member of her team. From the field, I went back to GIS, and when the time came and Connie Cook retired, I already had a GIS IT background and gladly stepped back into that role. And after learning the process and workflow of the office for that position, I just continued to work and to find other ways. Just continued on in that role, in that position. I believe the technical background I possess will be a valuable skill set in the interim position and the future as assessor, because all indications point to more automated processes when it comes to government information, processing, and maintenance. Not only that, but there are many areas that AI will help with not only GIS, but potentially change office operations as a whole. One way with mapping is a demo program to AI that can quickly locate any changes that we don't see on our map when compared with a property record card. Another example, clerical-wise, would be to determine certain discrepancies in deeds that would otherwise be difficult to detect. I have also worked with the state on creating a new stole map that is able to improve accuracy of land grades that can be used for Greenbelt. I have been working on this goal of becoming assessor for quite some time. I really enjoy the people in my office. assisting the public, day-to-day operations, and making sure that all offices that depend on us are taken care of. This will be my second reappraisal. I have assisted in multiple ways each year. Get ready for county board meetings, from helping to set up to just observing the process and learning what to do. This reappraisal, I was able to work on valuation for different neighborhoods and see how the area works of that appraisal. It all goes hand in hand with GIS data and mapping layers on differing sales years. During my 6 years here, I've developed relationships with local and state government, law offices and title companies, utilities and others, clients, and I really have a passion and desire to assist the public, try and get them exactly what they need. And as you all know, this next 6 months is a very pivotal time with an interim assessor, with reappraisal, possible change in the duration of reappraisal, whether to index and decouple field review, and the issue, just like we spoke about just a minute ago, of tax. Any of these, in my opinion, is a major undertaking for an assessor, let alone an interim. I am confident that I, along with the great team of longtime employees, can get through this transitional period with the help of the Comptroller's Office and the DPA.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, I got a question for you real quick. Are you planning on running for this position?
Yes.
Okay, you are planning on running.
Sure
That's what I want to know. Thank you.
Hey,
Who else? Was there another?
yeah,
I got two more.
okay. Hey, who, Emily? Yes, Emily.
Good evening. My name is Emily Hodges. I currently work in the property assessor's office. I've been there for 6 years. I'm a field appraiser at the current time. When I started in personal property, so I've kind of learned that side of the property assessor's office. Being a field appraiser, we go out every day. I have a gentleman that I go out with. There's 2 of us. And we do all the appraisals for the county over a 5-year period. Because during that 5-year period, we touch every single property in Bedford County. We have quarterly reviews that we do. That means that we have about 6,000 parcels per quarter that have to be looked at. And whenever I say 6,000 parcels, that means everything that's sticking up out of the ground on that parcel, we either have to measure or confirm that against the tax records that we have to make sure that it's still there. In doing that, we do that over a 4-year process, and on the 5th year, that's our reappraisal year, where we do kind of the same thing, but we review what people call in and have us review, or us to review. So during that year, it works a little bit different. Over that 5-year process, we also have to pick up all the new construction, which is residential or commercial, and we do review when people call in and have questions about their tax bills or tax card. We'll go out and look at those as well. So it's a process. It's a very big process. It's a very big job. With that being said, it's made my interest grow more and more every day to want to be your next property assessor. So I am going to run in the upcoming election. I do have experience in county government. I've worked in county government since high school. I've worked at the Bedford County Health Department as a public health office assistant. I've worked at the 911 Communication Center as a 911 dispatcher, and I've worked for the Bedford County School System as a secretary, and I've worked in the HR department at the Board of Education. So I am a single mom. I have a 16-year-old daughter. This opportunity has come up. It's an opportunity that I have jumped on wholeheartedly. It's an opportunity that I'm embracing because I am learning so much about public service, about our community, about our veterans. It's just wholeheartedly dear to my heart. I'm a public servant at heart. So I ask, I would love the appointment. I know Rhonda's days are limited, but I'm excited, very excited.
And like Commissioner Anderson said, you're going to be a candidate in office.
Yes, sir.
And you're asking for the interim appointment as well.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm. Okay, we got a third one?
Yep.
Paige.
Good evening. My name is Paige Beach. I am Rhonda's Chief Deputy Assessor. Come next month, I'll be with her 12 years. And I take care of all the daily functions in the office when she's gone. I know we have deadlines to meet. We are held accountable by the state to meet these deadlines. So I usually assist Rhonda with them, a reminder of things that, you know, has to be done at certain times. So, and also the people in our office do come to me when there's a problem. If there is someone out there in the foyer that is irate, I usually try to step in, lend an ear, and step in when I need to. My goal is just to keep things running, meet these deadlines that we have to meet until the new assessor comes. And then when the new assessor comes, I'll be glad to help them in any way I can. But I'm just seeking to be interim until the new assessor comes.
And you're not going to be a candidate?
No, sir.
You're not running.
Okay. May I ask you a couple of questions?
Sure.
As the deputy up there? And I'm familiar with how the assessor's office works, and I've called several assessors about this process. You've got daily detail responsibility. So
Yes.
that means you have to do payroll,
Mhm.
vacation time, sick time, PT, comp time. You put all those together.
Yes, sir.
Purchases like gas, fuel, you do that. OSHA, do you have OSHA hours?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
What about the appraisal appeals board? What is it?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir. We have to have, we have the changes have to go out prior to May 20th. We send out change notices to the homeowners. And we have, the change notices will go out March 27th this
Mhm.
year. And then, of course, we'll have county boards the first 3 weeks of June.
Yeah.
Everything is on a timeline.
So you got to meet timelines.
Yes.
And you have to do that.
Yes.
You're required. I
Yes.
think Greenbelt has to be done. Well, let me back
Yes.
up. Mobile homes have to be done by March 1st.
Yes, sir.
And personal property has to be completed and submitted March 1st. And you're on top of that.
Yes, sir.
What about Greenbelts? They're due,
March 15th.
there you go.
And we have to work a report because we don't let anybody slip through the cracks. We
Okay.
work very hard at contacting them and getting them in there, and they're thankful. They're like, thank you, we forget.
And the map completions for tax purposes, you have to
Yes,
do
sir,
that?
all of that has to be, Drew has to have all that done and finalized and registered with the deeds office by
Okay.
the 15th. Yes, sir.
And then you've got, like you said, the change notices in there.
Mhm.
Then you got to do quarterly cleanups. Would that be
Yes, sir.
something? Okay.
Yes, sir.
And
They're always sending reports, and then we have a yearly report we have to do.
okay. And then you've got a translation between the city and county accounting or something. Is there
Yes,
something like that?
yes.
And you're doing that.
Yes, sir.
And what about training? Board trainings?
Yes, sir. They have to have 4 hours of training, county board training.
Okay.
We have to do that also. And then, of course, we have to have a newspaper ad out so many days before county board. Everything is on a timeline.
So, and you've got the reappraisal that's ongoing with
Yes,
all the
sir.
various departments, and you're you're not in charge, but you are overseeing a component of that as it goes through.
Yes, sir.
So you're running this office day to day.
Yes, sir.
Now the statute says clearly, 671504, in the case of vacancy, the legislative body shall elect an assessor who shall hold office until the September 1 following the next regular election. And then it says, should it become vacant due to death, resignation, or removal, the duty of the assessor is discharged by the chief deputy. It is temporary successor by the assessor of property in writing until a successor assessor is elected or appointed. So upon your resignation or retirement, then the chief deputy automatically steps in until a replacement is made, whatever time frame that is. And you're doing all these duties right now, the whole thing right now, and you're not a candidate
No,
in
sir.
August, okay? That's all the questions I have, Mr.
Okay,
Chairman.
any others? Okay, Ben, thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate all, the three of you coming up and, sending your case. Okay, is there any other business to come before the?
Well, is, one last question,
Okay.
is, would you have a suggestion, recommendation that you would like to make to this committee before we?
As you can see, Drew and Emily both know their jobs. They do a great job. You know, Paige does handle the day-to-day. Paige is who I'm asking for to take my place for that 6 months to keep everything running smoothly, because the dates and deadlines are there for a reason, and the comptroller is going to make sure those are done. So I can't afford for the county to put them in a position to miss something. So, and I think with her not running ethically, and I took an oath, I can't ask for anybody else, knowing they're running, but she does the day-to-day work.
Understand. Well, Mr. Chairman, I guess after hearing what we've heard, we have certainly two very qualified candidates who are going to run in August who know their business. But from that day-to-day operation we've got, I don't know how we can possibly abdicate the responsibility without you being there and having her do that. And I would like to make a recommendation that we submit to the commission that we put the deputy in charge of the day-to-day operations until the August election. And if someone on the floor of the commission wants to nominate somebody, that's perfectly acceptable. But I'm going to make that motion that Paige be the interim property assessor until the August election. Then, if anyone would like to second that.
My question is, can we do it, or does it have to go to the commission? That's my question.
It
We
still
have
goes to the commission.
It's gotta go to the commission.
We're going to recommend it
Would
to
just
the
be that would be a
Recommend it to the
recommendation. I
commission
got
is
you.
what you're saying. That's what the vote is.
Yeah.
Right, the vote's to send it back
And,
with
but
a
anyway, what
recommendation.
I'm hearing, the statute says that's what we're supposed to do anyway.
Correct. We're just following
Am
the
I
statute.
understanding that correctly? So it's not like we have a choice of which direction to go.
Well, that's my motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, there's a motion second. Is there any further questions or discussion about it? So we're gonna recommend her do the per se, the property assessor's request. Yes, yes, ma'am. Any other questions or comments? Yes. Yes, if there's some question about the procedure, it would need to be discussed.
I'm tracking with you, but I wonder if his motion should be that would be the recommendation for the commission in the March meeting, where nominations can come from the floor, because it can't be.
Right,
We
it
went
can't
through, the
be
county
until-
attorney says that the rule, the law, the TCA code says it's at the first meeting after the vacancy, and she's there till, so if you would just, I think it would just clean it up to
Yes,
say that would
the
be the
March meeting.
recommendation going to the commission in the March meeting. Again, nominations would come from the floor.
Exactly.
And however many nominations there are, they've got to get 10 votes.
Right.
And the bylaws rules state that if you have more than 2 and nobody gets 10, the one with the least drops. I mean, this is already outlined in your bylaws.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll make that amendment for the March meeting.
Is the second agree?
Do you agree?
Yep. Okay, is there any other questions, discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, any announcements? Wow. None. Okay, well, is there a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Okay,
So moved.
so moved. Phew, sorry.
That was awful
Law enforcement.
stuff.
I got a little gavel at school. I could have brought it.
You did good. You did good.
Thank you.
Calls to order and let's pray.
I would like to call the Public Safety Committee meeting to open. Mr. Maddox, would you call?
Yes, ma'am.
Pray.
Let's pray. Dear Lord, thank you for this opportunity to come together tonight, Lord, to do the business of the folks of Bedford County. Lord, I pray that you would continue to watch over our county and be with us. Lord, thank you for watching over us today in War Trace. Lord, I pray that you continue to be with them there as they deal with the train situation. Lord, I thank you again for this beautiful day. Pray that you be with us in the upcoming weather, Lord, and just thank you again for your son that died on the cross for our sins. It's in your name I pray, amen.
Thank you. Our chairman is absent. I need approval for the agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. We need the minutes approved of the December 16th meeting. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
All in favor? Public comments for the Public Safety Committee? Okay. Animal control,
You should have your report, but she was actually sick today. So.
she's sick. Okay. Sheriff's report, please.
I'll say starting out, if anybody has any questions or updates on the train, we have train wrecks every day, but the real train wreck today, Chief Elliott was out there all day as well as Sergeant Featherston back there. So either one of those gentlemen can probably answer your questions on that better than anyone else. As always, I've got the monthly report, and I know you all have it too, so I'm just going to hit a few things. But total miles patrolled in the month of last December, 63,325. 57 warrants were served, 226 arrests. Got total inmates current holding 352. When we first moved in that jail, I thought it'd be a long time before this one is full, and now I'm starting to get worried. But anyway, investigations, 277 in December. Traffic accidents, there was 84 non-injury, 9 with injury. Motorist assist that we provided, 73 in December. And traffic stops, 174. Transports in custody, 36. Escorts, 25. 911 calls, 56. 653 total. Did you all get the
Task force.
drug task force?
Seen it yet?
Hadn't seen
Well,
it.
okay. Well, I thought it was me because he said he was sending it, and I thought, well, maybe I lost it or something. I guess maybe,
Mike,
he didn't see it.
Sheriff, Thomas, Mark might have got it and just didn't get it to me.
Okay.
So we'll wait and see.
All right.
I'll get his name out in a minute.
Well, we'll move on to the judiciary services out there where we're at in the courtrooms. In the month of December, there was 4,754 people that came into the judicial complex. Again, that doesn't include the sheriff's department. That's just the courtrooms and down on Michelle's end. Deputies maintain security for 38 court sessions, 1,232 individual court cases. Deputies served 47 criminal and civil warrants, and there was 21 people that was taken into custody on warrants, and deputies transported 92 inmates from court holdings or holdings in courtrooms, whatever. So without the drug task force, that's all I've got. Lieutenant Cook is here for the jail. If y'all have any questions, I'll try to entertain them.
Any questions?
One question.
Sure.
Sheriff, thank you for the report. Thank you for your time and all you do. So every once in a while, we get a question from constituents that obviously doesn't pertain to the work that we manage, but the work that you all manage. And we've gotten a few questions as it pertains to the 287G program, U.S. Immigration Customs Enforcement, ICE. I know that there are two different models. There's the jail enforcement model, there's the task force model. I think folks are looking to better understand that. I know that other counties have signed up for it, I believe 40 counties. And I know that we haven't done so as of yet. But just curious if you could kind of give us a little bit of information as to where we are with Bedford County is looking at, something your department is looking to possibly do. I'll pause there.
Okay. Well, short answer is yes. So.
Thank you, Sheriff.
We have never refused to help any other agent, whether federal, state, another local agent. Never have refused to do that. The agreement with ICE, as we're speaking of, we have met with ICE more than one occasion, and I think last time we met with them, because there was some things that didn't line up, and I think at one time they was wanting, we're in the Chattanooga district, Hamilton County district, and I think it seems like it doesn't matter if it's the Tennessee Highway Patrol or if it's ICE or whoever it's at, and where their district headquarters are, we're always the furthest county from it, and there's no difference with the part of the state that ICE, again, we're in the Hamilton County or Chattanooga district, and they've actually wanting us, it was my understanding, they was wanting us to keep all ICE prisoners, whether it's Bedford County, Coffee County, whatever, Sequatchie County, whatever, or at least the ones on this end, which we didn't think was fair because that puts a burden on Bedford County taxpayers to not only the wear and tear on your jail, but just the day-to-day keeping them up. Again, though, we do want to do what we're supposed to do, and we are going to do, and we have been doing what we were supposed to do. We took the last time we talked with him, we took the agreement basically and sent it to the county attorney's office to get his blessings on it. Over the years as chief of police as well as sheriff, I have learned that sometimes if you don't get those blessings, you end up in quicksand. We certainly didn't want that because we do take it very serious. As of right now, he has given it back to us. Everything from the last meeting we had with him, I think he's, if that's what we want to do, he's comfortable with that. We are actually waiting on ICE now. Needless to say, they're a heck of a time up in Minnesota as well as other places. And I'm assuming that's maybe what the holdup is on their end now, because in my opinion, their side and not ours. I did like the last agreement, general agreement that we had with them. It not only they're going to pay us to keep prisoners, but it's a pretty good amount when you compare it to the state prisoners. But there again, we are not going to go in business keeping every county's criminals, or maybe I shouldn't say criminals, but people that are illegal aliens, which is a crime. We're just basically interested in Bedford County. So we're sort of waiting on that. We're not sort of, we are waiting on it, but we will continue to assist. I just want it known that Bedford County Sheriff's Department's main objective is Bedford. That's our number one, who we take care of. And that's just the way it is. But keep in mind, because I know there are those entities, sometimes I feel like there is, that wants to make it like we're Joe Biden down there helping them get across the border or something. when in essence, Bedford County, unless this has changed, in this district I'm talking about, southeastern part of Tennessee, Chattanooga district, Bedford County is the number one. We turn in more than anybody. I mean, and it's not that we're going around kicking in doors or anything like that. That's just the way it is. They come into the jail, they don't have a good social security number or ID, whatever, and it doesn't matter if they're black, white, Hispanic, they get turned into ICE for identification, and we've been number one, though. I mean, even including Chattanooga, I've been told. So unless that's changed, it has, then I didn't know it. But I think we hopefully will have a good agreement with them. I'm just not sure when it'll happen because the main two guys that we have been dealing with, I think they informed the Chief Elliott today or yesterday or something. They've been moved out. So I don't know.
I appreciate your answer, Sheriff, and I know for a fact too that y'all are doing what you're supposed to be doing. It's a small but big county, so I have the opportunity to talk to folks, and I know that they're doing their job, so to speak, and I know you're doing your job, and I appreciate that. I personally have even gotten several questions and one formal written question to me, and I appreciate you outlining where you all are in the process and appreciate what you're doing.
Anything else?
Lieutenant Cook. Yeah.
Ronnie informed me at like 4 o'clock that he had an issue he had to deal with. So I wasn't able to get all your numbers together. Primarily the housing number for state inmates. I think that number stays fairly consistent. So if you look back at numbers I've reported previously, it's probably in that same ballpark. Sheriff's fee, we collected $2,720. Comp fee, $112. Phones, $16,441.28. Commissary, $1,316.65. The kitchen made 29,760 meals in December. And I got one last number that I generally try to report, but I have a little question about it. Something that I've just been kind of looking at. When I report county savings from work crews, I'm only reporting crews that go out to work every day. So that would be road gang and city litter and public works, whatever. That number's $43,200. But it occurred to me a while back, we have at least as many people that work inside the food service, cleanup, washing cars. We don't report those. And I don't know if we just never reported them or if we're not interested in us reporting. I don't know, but it's at least the amount that I report and probably more. And I don't know. I just threw it out there. I started thinking about it a few months back, and if you want it, I can change it and get you those numbers that would reflect all the workers and all the savings to the county. But I'll leave that to you, whatever you want. That's all I've got.
Lieutenant Cook, would you take and give us an overall summary of where we are concerning programming and what your future plans to help the inmates become a better citizen as they are released? I know that's pretty loud and broad.
Overview. Well, so we spent the first 3 years of the program creating a program that we felt would best serve the county, the citizens of this county. Last year, I felt like going going into last year, I really liked where we were at, and we were getting a lot of feedback from the state and other counties that they liked where we were at. And so I really started thinking about, did I want to continue to work on the recovery side of this program? Because when you build a program, you're worried about recovery, right? The first thing I need to do is get a person out of active addiction. And we can worry about them not coming back to jail and getting jobs and all that other stuff later. I just don't want you to die, right? And I felt like going into last year, there was a few pieces that I wanted to kind of sew up, but I was really happy with this idea that I had in my head of where I wanted this program to be, and I liked where we were at, and I was getting a lot of feedback that other people liked where we were at. So that sort of just reinforced my idea of where the program was. So when I started thinking about this program a long time ago, I really wanted to be able to offer services to people that help them look at the future. I mean, if you're going to get clean and you're not going to come back to jail, then what happens after that, right? The day you walk out of jail, there's got to be something. But the recovery side of it was primary. So starting last year, I started thinking about, okay, how can we help people that have gone through our program? They're stable now. They don't leave our program until they get out of jail. So some of these people, I have a lot of time with them.
Correct.
What can we do? And once they graduate the program that I facilitate, there's a lot of other things for them to do to keep them engaged. But how do we benefit them when they get out of jail? Okay. And so I started thinking about this job skills component to the program that we really hadn't focused on. I had the garden, that's why I wanted to start the garden in the first place, because I couldn't teach job skills to people in a classroom. It don't happen. So that was the main reason why I wanted to start a garden, was to be able to teach work ethic to people that have none. I have no concept of what work ethic is. I mean, some have had then addiction sort of rerouted their future, but for the most part, most of the people I deal with don't have a concept of what career is, what work ethic is. And so I wanted to work on that. So that's starting this year. Every new program that we have will have a job skills component added to it. And all the new skills that we're going to start will be centered around their career, how to help you not just get out of jail and go to work in a factory, but figure out what you want, what you're good at, what your life's journey, your habits and your routines and all the things how can you apply that to a job, and what can you make a career out of? So that's kind of where we're headed.
Sounds good to me.
To answer your question.
Yes.
Okay.
Lieutenant Cook.
Yes,
Go
sir.
ahead.
I
I'm
apologize.
sorry.
Are you same times for MRT program? Still
Yes.
same times?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Linda. Commissioner.
I want to make sure I understood what he said. So you could get us the numbers every month for how many go out to work, and the ones who work internally in the jail.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then also, while you're at it, if they worked for the county, how much that saved the county or the city? That amount. We used to get that.
Correct.
Anyway, just food for thought. Y'all didn't answer. I would love for that to be.
Well, the way I calculated it for a long time, I think I calculated it at like $8 an hour. And about, I don't know if y'all remember, but about a year ago, I came to you and I said, this does not reflect reality anymore. $15 an hour, and that was y'all's recommendation. So that's kind of how I figure it. I don't figure it like a county employee with benefits and all that. It's just strictly if we hired somebody at $15 an hour, they work 8 hours a day. Some work 4 days a week, some work 5 days a week. This is how many hours this group of people put in, and I multiply that by 15. Pretty straightforward. So, but it doesn't reflect, like we have like 9 people that work in the kitchen, doesn't reflect them. We have like 3 people in the laundry, doesn't reflect those people. We have hallway cleaners, we have pod cleaners. We have a lot of people working inside the jail to keep it clean, that the county doesn't have to pay to do those jobs. So it's up to you. If you want it, I'll give it to you. If you don't want it, I'll leave it the way it is.
There has been a request. You're on. Please provide. Okay. Anything else?
That's all I got, unless you got another question.
Okay, you're dismissed, sir.
Thank you.
All right, EMA, please.
First of all, I'll say, do we have any questions on the my I sent in? Because we got some other stuff we can cover. So we're going to do a past, the present, and the future. How about that? So 7-Eleven this morning, my phone went off. County Fire letting me know that we had a partial train derailment in Wartrace. First of all, let me say kudos, and I say it over here. I say it every time I get up here. And once again, I'm going to say it again because our public safety folks jumped right in and were Johnny on the spot to get information and things like that. We had 4 cars that came off the tracks on a side track in Wartrace that had ethanol in there. It was denatured alcohol, which is could be used for fuel or solvents or things like that. It was quickly determined by the responding group that we had no leaks, and everything was intact with the cars. It was determined that we were going to evacuate some of the people that were close to the track there, which is what happened. They were carried to the gymnasium in Wartrace. We had a handful of folks like that. So once again, our public safety people jumped in with blocking roads, doing the fire thing, hazmat thing, EMS. We had all of our folks there making decisions, and CSX came in also. Right now, this afternoon, or this morning, this morning, CSX kind of took over the scene. We are now in a supporting role. They're in cleanup, pick up, make back what is tore up, things of that nature. Tonight, I think Sarge had said that we're looking at maybe having cars uprighted by 10 o'clock. So that's where we're at now. Everybody is back in there at 2 o'clock in the morning. Yep, 2 already up. So people are back in their homes. It was determined it is safe for them to return. So we made that happen also. The roadway at Bug Scuffle is closed right in front of the area. However, people that live in that area can get in and out with some assistance from either CSX or Sheriff's Department, others that are there. So that's the past. And the present is part of what I just said. Those cars will be uprighted, they will be set to the side, and they will be downloaded in a safe manner. CSX does all that. They have a hazmat team on scene also. So that would be a process that takes a little bit of time. So if you're out that way, you will see cars sitting on the side, but they're safely there for them to mitigate what they need to do. They also have to fix the track right there on that side. So that's pretty much the things on this morning's events. Now the future is the weather. So it just hits keep coming, right? Right now we're in a battlefield line with ice or snow. So where that falls, we do not know. Closer we get to Friday, we will know more. However, I will tell you this: we are going to get something. So everybody, when we leave here, I expect to see everybody at Kroger's in line. But no, you need to make plans. Check on your friends, neighbors, things like that. Bring your pets in. Not only the snow and ice is a concern, but the cold weather is also. Cold temperatures are coming in. So make plans, what your plans are to for inclement weather, traveling, things of that nature. And then if, God forbid, electricity goes out, have a plan of what you need to do and what you can do about that. So we'll push more out. We'll probably have a little meeting with our public safety people we normally do when we have some inclement weather coming in, just to get everybody on the same page and understand what we're going to do. So I can bet that you're probably going to see that happen. So with all that being said, is there any questions about any of that stuff?
Thank you for your service.
Planning. You think all the public safety people, they
Yeah.
think about my day pretty easy. We come together and we had a unified command out there, and our people from our different entities were there, and we did a unified decision on things that we needed to do. It worked very well. We will have an after action. There's always something you can tweak, but that's coming down the pipe.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Okay. Juvenile. There she is. Are you enjoying your build-up of the building? Every time I pass, I get excited that it's coming to nutrition. So, yes. Okay, any questions?
Thank you.
Probation, I don't think he's here. It's in the report. Any questions on?
No question.
Okay. All right, I need a motion to approve all reports.
Motion to approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right. Other reports. New business. The magic word. Adjournment.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, I'm going to call the Courthouse and Property Committee to order. Our first order of business is going to be a prayer from Commissioner Neely.
Let us pray. Lord, we just come to you with praise and thanksgiving for another day. And Lord, we're thankful for every blessing that you bestow upon us as a county. Lord, we just ask that you guide us and direct us in all of the business that we accomplish for our county. All these things we ask in your name. Amen.
Amen. All right, we do have all members present. Our first order of business is the minutes approval from December 16th.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and second. Any changes or alterations? Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, any public comments? All right, seeing none, moving along. All right, your first report is going to be your codes report. She is in the room.
Evening. You all should have your report, hopefully. This is a 6-month report
So since July 1, we've issued 106 new home permits. We've also reviewed and issued a total of 247 permits during that time. 82 of those went to city schools tax, so they had roughly 82 new housing starts in the city during that time. Any other questions?
Any questions? All right, thank you so much.
Oh, I also want to add that we've posted a job opening for a building inspector.
Okay, very good. All right, planning and zoning.
Good evening. I don't have anything to add to my report unless you guys have any questions, but I would like to give you guys an update on the pond/quarry operation, the Hawkins deal. So what's happened is TDEC has reviewed their application to amend their original permits. Those are underway. If you look on the website, on TDEC's website, which we're following, it's in the process of approval. Talk to TDEC. It's going to be approved. They've been given a small fine. It's pretty insignificant. The way that, from a county perspective, the state preempts counties from, and any local government from interfering or applying our zoning regulations to agricultural operations. I know there's other similar situations in other counties which are a lot different, but this one is engineered to be a farm pond. It looks like a farm pond on paper. It's limited in scope. They farm in a massive way, and so it looks like a farm. And even though people, and I wouldn't argue either that maybe some ways because that they have the type of business they can benefit from it. But if it's farm related and we can anyway create a nexus between what they are doing as a farm and what this is, we don't have a choice. We can't force a rezone. We can't force anything. State TDEC does have jurisdiction on it as far as them removing, classifying the material and using it in other places. And they had a certain type of permit that we required them to get because a lot of people didn't understand that we had been dealing with this since October 24. We've known about it the whole time because they actually came in and dealt with us from the very beginning. They were never trying to hide anything from us. And I required them to get the TDEC permit. But according to TDEC now, they needed a permit from two different divisions. One from the Division of Water Resources, which we asked them to do because they're close to a stream. They're close to the Garrison Fork or whatever the name of that creek. Anyway, they're close to that, and they're kind of close to a flood zone there. And we wanted to make sure we protected that creek and the waters of that creek. And so we asked them to get that, and they did. And so that's what they had. They needed also another permit from another division, which deals with mineral extraction, that sort of thing. So they've done that. They've applied for that. It looks like it's going to be approved. So we're just waiting for that to happen.
Now, I did receive several phone calls on this, and one of the questions was in lieu of the blasting that's going on, is there any type of process or anything that goes along with that they need to, because we're talking, some of these are saying that there's possible damage to their home or things like that. So again, what should I be telling them?
They're required to monitor it for the state. They have to have a license to blast, and the state regulates that as well. And so they have to monitor that. They have seismic, monitors and that sort of stuff. And at any time, if anybody complained to the state about blasting, they can report that to the state. The state can look back at all of the seismic readings and determine if they were over blasting or using too much explosives or anything. But it's not a county regulation, it's a state regulation.
Now, is that through TDEC or which group? What should I point them to?
I don't know exactly, but I will have an answer for you tomorrow.
All right, thank you. That? Okay, I appreciate that. All right.
The other thing is, one thing I'd like to mention too is it's not an application. I do not have an application to the Planning Commission per se. I do have a developer that has been talking to me about a type of development, something that really I was wanting to push our PUD regulations more to like planned rural development or agri-hood type of situation. And there's a developer that is wanting to develop a subdivision on the county, Rutherford, Bedford County line. You have about 500 acres there that's bifurcated by the county line, so it really kind of just hugs the county line right there close to 41A. Actually would enter from 41A. That subdivision he could go one of two ways. He could either apply for commercial zoning on the front, or he could just apply for the planned unit development zoning for the whole thing and actually accomplish what he's trying to accomplish. But rather than it be a planned unit development with tiny lots, which most developers want, these lots would range from 2 to 6 acres all. This would be a very high-end, ultra high-end subdivision that they're wanting to do with multi-million-dollar homes. It would just have a commercial component on the front with farm. It's actually an agriculturally related element to it. It'd have a equestrian center, lots of pasture. They're preserving all of the old growth trees. Every lot is completely surrounded as far as the footprint, the building footprint, by old growth trees. They have, where they have found really nice stands of old growth trees where the road is or the road is planned, they're actually going around it with 2 different lanes to protect and preserve it. It has agricultural elements as far as like farming. They want to have a farm store there as a part of it. It would be, you know, it would be ultra high end, and it would have a farm to table restaurant in it. So I'm, you know, I've got to figure out how to guide the developer as far as how we want him to go, whether we want him to go with the planned development, or if which would just be a one-stop shop, and he could solve all those problems with that. But keep in mind, if we come to you with this, it won't be the type of planned development that you guys are used to seeing. It won't be. This is actually way more elevated than anything that we would require. The only thing that changes it is just it has a commercial element, but it's on the highway. You know, it's a commercial element on the highway, on the county line.
And so out of the 500, rough estimate of how many homes?
This would be like 60 homes on 250 acres. The other rest of it's in Rutherford County, so we wouldn't have any control over that. And there's, of course, on the backside, there's a golf course. See, I don't know if you guys realize that, but there's a golf course. So they're trying to, you know, take advantage of that. So the reason why I bring it up tonight is because I really would love for any of you here, you have a moment to come by my office and look at this, rather than us wait till the planning commission meets, and because they haven't even applied, but it's a good opportunity to kind of get boned up on it and asked to vote on later on, because
it would be a zoning change.
It would be a zoning change to they wouldn't have to change the zoning where the houses are going to anything, because it's, like I said, it's 2 to 6 acre lots, and we only require 1. It would require a zoning change which we could do zone the whole thing as planned unit development, or he could choose to zone the front of it commercial. And so that would be the thing. So we just got to figure out how to guide him. And if the more of you that I talk to independently about how you feel about this development helps me guide the developer so that he can make the best decision.
It's off 41A. That's pretty good distance off here.
Excuse me?
That'd be third. That'd be the third
district.
It's off 41A.
Yeah.
So that'd be Troy and Janice.
I have one more developer that's talking to me about a completely different thing on Shaw Road that you guys have probably heard about. That's a totally different thing too. That has not come to me as an application. But what that person has to do first is they have to navigate the sewer. And that's going to be a little bit complicated. I don't know that we'll ever see that application. It's going to be a little bit complicated. But I would, it's also an opportunity for you to look at that too, if you guys want to come in the office and check that out.
Chris, is that address for off 40, or like, is there a solid address for that location?
No, it's farmland right now.
Is there a road
it's
it's
not
on?
being farmed.
If it's not on, is it
there's
on
no
41A?
road, there's no nothing. It's
Okay.
just vacant land.
Okay, I'll come.
Yeah, it's just vacant land.
All right. Any
But come
questions?
see me and I'll show it.
Yeah, for sure.
Any other questions? Thank you for all that update. All right. IT report.
Hello, fine folks. So I've seen a lot of you this month, and you don't have anything for me. I don't have anything to report. We have a lot of activity going on. We had a staff meeting this morning, and we have about 20 projects that are ongoing internally. And some of those you might notice around the room. We added some speakers, and you can probably hear a little bit better
Nice.
We're trying to improve the sound system in here and some of the other things. We duplicated we went ahead and purchased some more equipment. It's going to mirror the setup that we had over at the other location on Dover Street, so that we don't have to wag the equipment back and forth or reset it up. Try to keep it as static as we can as we add more meetings to the roll. And so that's, unless you guys have any questions for me, I don't really have anything else to add.
Thank you
this
again
month.
for all the live streaming. I know that it's been a hot topic, but we do appreciate the hard work y'all do, and I know the public does as well.
No problem. We're trying to improve it. And this meeting, I was working on the audio a little bit, so just got some new equipment, trying to tune it in, and we'll probably be wiring in the mics as opposed to the wireless. It's a little bit better quality as we move forward. But thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. Fire department report is in closed. Commissioner Thomas is not here. Fire chief. E911 report is also enclosed. All right. Media GIS. You have a report enclosed, and Mr. Carney's here as well.
Yeah, I have a little bit of a mea culpa. It says, I wrote this because of the timing. I had to write this a couple weeks ago. It says that the newsletter was later than normal. Well, we actually haven't done the newsletter yet. What happened was we have a provider, a service provider called Constant Contact, which is really set up to take monthly payments by credit card. And so we had to kind of jump through some hoops when we first set it up, plus for a year at a time and send a check. And I let that deadline catch up on me, and then went to set something up on the newsletter one day, and it wouldn't work because we owed them money. But anyway, so then I started the process to get a check with the finance office, and thought I had done everything I needed to do, and I was waiting for it as we were headed into the holidays, and then nothing happened. And then I realized that there was one last form that I had forgotten to send into the finance office. So it's my responsibility all around, but we have not put out a newsletter yet this month, and I'm hoping to get that resolved in the next day or two. They should be sending them a check, even as we speak. And once we're back online with that, I apologize for that. It was just sort of a perfect storm of things. Like I say, most of which were my responsibility. So,
Any questions for John? All right, thank you. This is your county buildings project. Again, Mr. Mayor, thank you for having our builder rep come last week and give us, or last month, and give us an update. It was quite informative and was able to get the committee up to where we're at on everything. So thank you for that. All right, I need a motion to approve all the reports.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion second. Any changes or any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, any old business? Any new business? Any announcements? Everybody be safe and stay warm this week. I need a motion to adjourn.